Hello, guys! So happy to have you here with me on another episode of the Make It Happen podcast. I've been feeling really good lately. Usually I have things going on that keep me from even saying that. But, there's always going to be areas that I need to work on and stuff that I want to improve. But I like that I can have the attitude of gratitude and be able to say that despite things not being everything I want right now, things are still really good. I'm happy with the person I am, the strength of my character, the openness I have created for myself and with others, the value I can deliver, and the cool things I can create when I take the pressure off of myself. If you have only recently joined in, then one, let me say hi, my name is Melanie Moreno, and I am the host of the Make It Happen podcast. And secondly, it's important to note that I haven't always been this cheery. I don't know, or maybe I have. I'm an optimistic person. I'm a dreamer, but not delusional, I think. I just feel more like myself on this February day in 2020 than I have in years. That sounds like an exaggeration, but I can't convey how serious I am about that. I've struggled with being myself, trying to fit in, and all that stuff, but now I've got some backbone. I think I share quite a bit about the feelings I have regarding my sense of self, but if there's anything that you'd be interested to know more about specifically, then I'd love it if you left me a comment or simply go ahead and shoot me a message on Instagram or Twitter. I'm in my head all the time, so sometimes I think I'm really clear on something when I'm actually not. Anyway, today is a great episode because it's got a story aspect to it, but it's also a little bit workshop style. Once in a while I get questions about what I make happen. I'm doing air quotes there. So I thought it would be cool to dive into how I decided on the whole Make It Happen tagline, what that actually means to me, and how you too can make it happen. To do so, I need to go back about 3 years. It was January 2nd in 2017 when I first purchased a website with the domain name of melmakesithappen.com. Even though this was the date I officially purchased my domain, I'll also have you know that I was contemplating a domain name for about 6 months prior. And even more, my dreams of blogging dated back even further. I'd say a good 2 years at least. Blogs aren't what they used to be. Social media wasn't really a thing 10 years ago, or back in 2010 for future listeners, which is when I started reading blogs. If someone had long-form information to share, it was on their website. Even small musings about a favorite nail polish were worthy of a blog post back then. Now, people use social media and directly want to receive information off of there. They want the 15-second recap and not the pages-long SparkNotes version. Do you guys remember SparkNotes? That's another thing that is practically deceased, I bet. I don't know if everyone used that, but back when I was in high school, SparkNotes and also CliffNotes were the shit amongst kids in advanced English classes. At any given time, we'd be reading 1 to 3 books on top of all the daily assignments from other classes. So you can't blame a girl for wanting to read a summary of the chapter instead of spending 45 minutes or whatever amount of time. I took a long time to read. So I didn't want to spend that amount of time reading always. So people are seeking different ways to interact with online content than they did before. Visual media is really taking off, so it isn't just enough to have a long-form written post. People want to have pictures, videos, or audio to accompany that. I think that speaks to the evolving nature of our brains, given the advancement of technology. Okay, I'm really digressing here. Going back to the blogs, I remember reading fashion blogs and swooning over the outfits that these bloggers would put together. Younger me was really into fashion, but having the luxurious allowance of a jobless high schooler, I lived vicariously through these blogs. The funny thing is, once you start seeing something over and over again, you start to think you can do it too. So the fashion blogs were my soft opening to the idea of blogging, but it was still several years later until I finally started melmakesithappen.com. It was after college, and like any other stereotypical millennial, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. You guys probably know this part. So I got super into health and fitness and thought I would start a blog to chronicle that, but also sprinkle in some of the lifestyle and fashion stuff I was interested in. It was really more of a hobby, but at the time, when I felt like I had nothing else going for me, this little blog was my everything. It was the reason I got out of bed in the morning. It was a way for me to be expressive and channel my creative juices. What I'm trying to get at here is that my idea of making it happen is to feel a call towards something. Maybe it's an interest or just a small curiosity. Even better if you have a clear passion for something and you just go for it. Making it happen isn't sitting and waiting for things to come to you. It isn't for the shy of hearts who would rather stay in their comfort zones. It's for the people who have dreams and want to see them through. Don't get me wrong here, I'm not classifying us into groups of people who are either doers and, well, the non-doers. There's a good amount of times when I feel shy and let the fear of doing something stop me. Why else would I take years to launch a blog? The thing is, when I feel the call towards something, I literally cannot rest until I see it through. The call that I speak of is intuition. Everyone has it. Sometimes it gets a bit harder here when you habitually shut it down. To continue with my example of the blog, it was so easy to keep throwing excuses around as to why I shouldn't. Fear of people judging me, not knowing what to write about, insecurities about not having knowledge to share or content of value. All sorts of things ran through my mind. I'll be honest, it's not like my website is the most popular thing online, but it is mine. It was the beginning of me making it happen, of me having a dream that was entirely my own. I didn't know anyone else in my real life who had a blog, so that also was a bit of a mental hurdle. When you follow your intuition, sometimes it takes you down these paths that you feel like you're the only one traveling. Even wilder is when you feel like you are paving that path. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. They have these ideas about a business that they could start or the kind of job they imagine they'd be ideal to work in, an app that they could improve, and such. We all have ideas, but who's going to be the one to make them into something tangible? If it seems too hard to take a course on coding, or too much effort to cut out the excess spending to save up money to buy the equipment you need to start your project, then you've really got to think about what's worse. Changing up my habits for a few months is going to require some effort, but if I've already been contemplating this idea or fantasizing about this project for months, at the very least, then long term, I'm already struggling. Every day as ideas float through my head and stir up elaborate daydreams of what could be, I'm making the choice to ignore them, and that is making me miserable. That sounds pretty extreme, but again, this is what happens when I really feel the call. My soul is begging for a change-up. It's not asking me to produce the sovereign remedy to 21st century ails, it's just asking me to align with my head and my heart's desires, to follow joy, to follow what's meant for me. Happiness comes with seeing a hefty challenge, but knowing nothing else will be quite as satisfying as having that thing. So you release resistance and say, okay, I'm freaking doing this. Sometimes, I'll admit, I have ideas for things that I think would be cool to create, or I believe I could improve something else, fill a void, etc. But I am only one person, and if I lay out the steps for this feat of mine, and I don't like what I see, I don't do it. I know, here I am talking about making it happen, and now I'm like, I don't do some things. But hold up. I have to like the journey as well as the destination, because that's where I'm going to be spending the majority of my time, in the struggle bus and trekking up the hill to where I want to go. As I'm saying this, I have to offer caution, because if you aren't used to following the intuitive pings that your soul gives you, then looking at the path to your dream might seem like too much work. You might say, Yeah, as much as I want this thing, I don't want it that badly. But be careful not to sell yourself short. So many times we let our egos get in the way and think that we're not going to enjoy something. Like, oh, I have to go back to school for that. Nope, don't want to do it. Never mind. Or, I don't know, all sorts of things. We'll sell ourselves short this way as a means to protect ourselves. We know what we have already, and this might not be great, but hey, at least I have security, right? Security is important. I won't bash on this. I also know it varies in importance in different areas for different people. But we have to get out of our comfort zones to possibly experience the joy that is the thing we want. Sometimes you can dip your feet into a new project without fully committing, ordering the sample size of a product or testing out the pint-sized can of wall paint before you splurge on the 5-gallon one to freshen up your living room. I'm not bashing on incremental steps. If those are an option, then take them. But there's a point where you've got to just jump off the cliff because you either liked the sample size and want to buy the full-size item or move on to something else. A quick interruption to let you guys know about a tool that you can use to deepen your connection to your head, heart, and soul. I created a set of self-discovery journal prompts to help guide you through questions that will get you thinking about what matters to you and provide a foundation for a journaling practice. These are so helpful if you're new to journaling and want a little bit of guidance, or if you just want to tap in further with your vibrant inner self. There are a total of 30 journaling prompts that you can print out and work on for 30 days straight of daily journaling, or you can answer them at your leisure. I've also priced them super affordably because I think they're going to be very helpful and I want to make sure that they're accessible for everyone. Head to my website, melmakesithappen.com, or click the link in the show notes to download your copy of the 30 Days of Self-Discovery Journaling Prompts today. With the rise of non-toxic products in the beauty and skincare industry, it's hard to find what's worth trying. There's one brand that I've been using for over a year now that I have got to tell you guys about. That is Frey Skincare. Their company started with the launch of a specially formulated sunscreen for active lifestyles that won't leave you greasy or break you out. But they've since expanded to a wide range of products from tinted moisturizers to facial cleansers and oils, a line of body products, and most notably their Frey 123 set, which is the perfect place to start if you're new to their products. I'd also recommend picking up their Detox Me face mask. It has cleansing microbeads made from jojoba oil that are perfect for a light exfoliation without stripping your skin. It also leaves my face feeling so fresh and supple after using it. I love it. Frey's team of dermatological scientists have formulated each product with the rejuvenating benefits of argan oil to hydrate, protect, and exfoliate your skin and leave you glowing or your money back. Plus, as part of their give back mission, for every skincare set that they sell, they plant an argan tree to help replenish the endangered argan forest in Morocco and support the women who harvest the argan oil. To get the glowy skin you've been seeking and a risk-free trial of their famous Frey 123 set, head to freyskincare.com/MelanieM and use the code MelanieM at checkout for a wicked discount. That's freyskincare.com/MelanieM. For those who try something and fail, that is still a successful attempt at making your dreams happen. In the process, you may discover you actually don't want to do this thing anymore. That's happened to me multiple times, unfortunately. Other times, the dream will still be there and it won't go away, and I think you'll just have to find another approach to getting this thing you want. This is tough. This one's real tough because the methods you thought would work didn't. And now you need to come back stronger and tackle things in a different way. It won't look like the traditional route, and you probably won't be able to find steps on how to get there. But you can still piece together information from what you've learned until you can get what you want. Every little thing you see, read, and experience is giving you exposure to possibilities. One of the most hindering things, I think, is when we Google how to this or that. It provides crucial information on a preliminary level, like if you want to make authentic Italian ratatouille, but you don't even know what vegetables go in there, then yeah, you'll want to pull up a recipe for that. But what if one day after that you have the eggplant, zucchini, and all the ingredients you need for ratatouille, but feel like a little spice? You have a curry spice blend in your pantry that tastes good in curry dishes, but you've never used it anywhere else. Can you add it to the ratatouille? If you try to find recipes online, you're probably not going to find anything because it's not traditional to use curry spice in ratatouille, but it might also taste really good. So making it happen is saying, I already know what this thing is like, what this dish tastes like, and I'm ready for something else. I'd rather experiment and try something new than stick with the same thing that I've done. Yes, it's safe, and yes, it will be tasty. Heck, there's even something to be said for making and remaking a dish or doing, insert whatever your thing is here, over and over again. That allows you to improve upon your skills and master it, but according to someone else's standards. So I have respect for tradition and for the hard work that various individuals who came before me have put in to test out and create different ways. But for me, the thrill does not come from doing things the way others have been doing them. With something I'm really interested in and something I'm really passionate about, I need to find my own way to do the damn thing. When I set out on a healing journey a few months ago to attend to various physical symptoms and chronic pain I was dealing with, I read up on everything in the health field. I researched different diets, different specialty treatments, costly supplements, everything. Each article you read is going to tell you why their method is the best or why their product is the best. But finally, enough was enough. I realized I was so dependent on the paths that other people had taken and things that they have proven to be helpful for them. But I wanted this 5-step formula to get rid of my inflammation, to take away my pain, give me success in whatever thing. And none of these felt right to me. This ties into my episode last week where I talked about labels and fitting into these systems and boxes that other people have established. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel in every sector, and neither should you. Just narrow in on what excites you and be unafraid to experience that thing. Recognize that any dissatisfaction you feel right now with people around you, with your job, with your home, or anything, is directly tied to you not following your calling. Okay, also take that with a grain of salt. Don't come after me with pitchforks, please. When you have that intuitive drive, you have purpose, and you will make it happen. It isn't a matter of how long something takes or what it's going to cost. You're going to do it because the alternative, maybe kicking back and ignoring the call, is not an option. You might not know what that means yet, but you feel it in your heart of hearts that you have to do this. Again, even small steps make a difference. I'll give another personal example. After high school, friends sort of fizzled away. Everyone was just involved in different things, and we weren't seeing each other every day. I still wanted to be social and go out places, but I realized I didn't know how to do that without someone with me. I remember being in a Hot Topic phase, you know, that store in the mall that looks pretty dark inside and they sell grungy clothes. But what I really liked getting there was Disney shirts and some band t-shirts. Anyway, I would drag my mom to the store with me because I didn't want to go alone. There's nothing wrong with this, with taking your mom to a store with you, but she never liked going in there anyway. This went on for a few months, and then one day, I remember it very clearly in my head. I decided I would just go do this myself. I wanted to buy a shirt, and I got in my car and drove to the mall and went to the store by myself. My mom even asked me before I was going to leave the house where I was going, and I said Hot Topic, and she's like, "Do you want me to go with you?" And I said, "No, I can do this myself." It was a taste of independence that I had never felt because I would always do things with other people. And so I'm sharing this because this probably sounds so small, and everyone who's listening is probably like, I go to the store by myself all the time. That's not a big deal. But whatever your thing is, maybe it's something small like that. Maybe it's not going to Hot Topic, but I don't know, insert whatever small thing you've been putting off that you feel a little bit afraid to do on your own. Later on, I started to challenge myself to see what other things I could do on my own. Going to other stores, visiting coffee shops, going to the park or on a walk. A big personal accomplishment was going to parties alone. If you do these things by yourself, again, you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? But if you don't go places by yourself, you know that the thought of doing so can be frightening, crippling, and it's enough to make you not want to do the thing, to stay in your comfort zone. Especially going to parties, you wonder who's going to be there. Will you have to talk to anyone? What do you talk about? What do you do? These are all reasonable thoughts, but once you start putting yourself out there, you get more comfortable, and it's easier to take that sense of autonomy, or at least for me, this is what I've learned. It's easy for me to take that sense of autonomy and apply it to different situations. Like this last event that I attended went well, so what happens if I try and go to this other event by myself? And after talking to this person and we hit it off well, now I feel a little more confident and I can go talk to this other person and start a conversation. It's just, that's what it is, building up your trust muscle in yourself and in your abilities and knowing that you can do it, whatever it is you want to do. And where did this all come from? Like I said, friends were a little scattered and I didn't want to have to rely on someone else to do something that I was interested in. I wanted to be able to simply decide and be able to take action on my decision instead of waiting around for someone else. I think warming up the muscle also gave me the confidence to pursue other things on my own, like this podcast. Way before it was a reality, I considered a co-host, but I wasn't sure who would be interested in such a project. It was also a really specific vision that I had, and I wasn't willing to wait around to see if someone else would be on board. If you ask someone else, hey, what's your idea of a podcast? Everyone's got their own idea. So the Make It Happen podcast is a manifestation of me simply not wanting to wait and taking action on the vision I had. You guys probably know by now that I have a late in life blossoming sense of spirituality. So in traditional spiritual thinking, I believe people tend to wish for something and trust the universe or God to deliver it. In my view, the intuitive calling I feel is spirit working through me, and then it's up to me to take action. As I progress, I get more and more downloads and insight as to where to direct myself. In other words, know your potential is greater than you can physically understand right now. What has attracted me about the guests that I've had on the podcast so far is how each person has that area where they aren't settling and they want to push forward to see what more they can do. They feel called to do something and might not have all the information yet, but they buckle down and go after it. Everyone is capable of this. Not everyone is going to prioritize or even have an interest in the same causes or projects as you, but that's okay. I think it's really beautiful to see how people embark on these soul missions. So, to recap, making it happen is simply feeling the call, feeling the intuitive call in your soul, and knowing that you cannot rest until you go after this thing. It's the ping to try something new, to talk to this person, to go to this place, and you don't know what it means maybe, but you know that there's something behind that, and just exploring it is going to give you more insight into who you are and what's right for you. If this episode revved up some of the go-getter spirit in you, I'd recommend checking out the episode with Caroline L. Franco recently. And also back in season 1, I have an episode with Alex Cole of Fitlicity. Those episodes are so highly motivational and touch on goal setting, creating habits, making changes, and getting clear on what you want. A good partner this episode, if I do say so myself. While you're at it, give the Make It Happen podcast a 5-star rating and review over on iTunes. Tell me why you enjoy listening or what stands out to you about the episodes. You can also drop me a comment or shoot me a message to let me know what your thoughts are on today's episode. Again, also let me know if you have any specific requests or topics that you would like to hear more about from me. I hope you're enjoying these solo episodes on specific topics that I've been putting out. Thank you very much for being here. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!